Oh, this week is on Western systematic theologies and Indigenous theologies. And it's quite interesting to learn that the Western systematic theology, actually it's not something I've learned, it's something I've lived with. And Western systematic theology comes from the left brain of everything has to be in order. Not just the United Church, but all churches have their books that guide them in how they believe or they work within their churches. And the Indigenous theologies, beliefs, ideas, are just there. They're not written down. They've just been lived throughout our whole lives.
Indigenous theology is listening to the voices of our land, our language, our traditions, and our custom.
I'm very interested in Indigenous theologies because it takes into consideration the Indigenous worldviews and the context by which they live their lives. Well, I think in some instances the context is very important. I know when I went to UBC last summer, we learned about each situation is unique, each community is unique, so the answer for one community is not necessarily the same for another. So I think that uniqueness of each different tribe, as Adrian talked about, everybody's worldview, each Indigenous tribe's worldview would affect that Indigenous theology. I think comparing the both of the Western and the Indigenous theologies, and looking at how you could make it personal to who you are as an Indigenous person, and for me that validates Indigenous thinking, Indigenous worldview, and Indigenous experience, and I think that's a lot of what is missing in society for a lot of our Indigenous people.